Alright, good morning. This is just a very quick video. I'm going to divide it into two sections. So the first section will be, I'll be showing you how I generally clean my Mora Companion. I'm still using a Mora. I've only been into Bushcraft now for it's going over 3 months now. I can see myself using this knife for maybe up to another year or so before I decide to go and splash out and get something a bit better than this. Yeah, I mean, the only problems that I'm having with this knife right now is just basically in my hand grip, personally, when I'm doing battening and then splitting wood. Just finding I don't like it curving in this part over here. I want a bit of a thicker handle. That's about it. Everything else, I'm pretty happy with the length of the blade, the width of the blade, and after having filed down the back to be able to strike ferrocerium rods with this, it works really, really well as a bushcraft knife, really. So what I've done is the way I maintain my knife, like cleanliness wise and sharpening and stuff, is I give it a very quick wash with soapy warm water, clean it off just very quickly, rub it off with a kitchen towel, and then I go ahead and do my sharpening with my sharpening stone, which I use the EDC for Falkniven, which is made by Falkniven. And yeah, what I do after that is then I come back again, give it a solid wash. So that's what I'm going to do now. Get it going with a bit of hot water. And then my sponge has already got some, see, like E-Cover. It's a local environmentally friendly washing liquid. It's already like got some there. This is a carbon knife, so there will be stains on the blade. There always is stains on the blade since, you know, maybe after the first couple of weeks that I bought it. But it's a really hard wearing knife. I can definitely confirm that these are high quality, hard wearing, heavy duty, because the amount of battening I've been doing with including seasoned wood, I've had quite a lot of cherry logs that I used to have about that thick, and I battened those absolutely fine, and I'm not feeling any issues going on with this knife, like any weakness between the blade and the handle. So after this point, I take it over to just the kitchen towel, wipe it off quite nicely. The handle I like to wash by hand. I don't want to use any sponges or cloths on that. Then I go over to, this is my preservative, my blade preservative. So I'm using just organic virgin coconut oil. I already have that at home. I didn't buy it specifically for this purpose. I actually make my own toothpaste, fluoride free toothpaste. You just need to take a little bit like that, fingertip, get it onto the blade. The blade is still warm from the water. You can just rub it across. Be careful obviously, so rub in a direction that you're comfortable with, in out, blade out, not in like that. And do every single part of the blade, so the back end as well. There's still quite a lot on there. I think I can just coat the other side of the blade. I don't need to get any more. For me it's quite important to also get into that point. I mean, this is obviously a plastic rubber handle. I do like to try and get it close to that edge over there. And now that's just the general way of taking care of your blade. So you're going to be putting it away for a couple of weeks. I do this process about twice a month or so, and I'm using this knife on a weekly basis, either towards the weekend or at the weekend. Then you can just throw it back into its sheath until you use it again. And that should take care of it. Basically, this is just beginner knife care. So as quickly as possible as I can, just give you an idea of what I got over here, and a small explanation of what I have planned coming up. So if you've been following the channel, you'll have seen this guy being used last week or so. This is my new wood gasification stove. This is the third stove that I've bought since I started getting into camping and bushcrafting and stuff. This is made by Lixada over in China, and I kind of thumbs up their equipment because for me, value for price is absolutely excellent. And I was quite shocked when I On my last video I think I was saying I bought this for like 15-16 pounds, British pounds, but actually when I had a look on, I was in eBay the other night, and it's still on my watch list. I couldn't believe when I saw it there. It was like £12 something. It's even cheaper than my little my folding stove, my hinged folding stove, which is pretty cool. But I like both of them anyway. So I used this in a video recently. I just went to break it in with a fire, and I decided to cook a pretty awesome what was it, a chicken kebab. That was it, and it came out really well. And that's that. So obviously folds down. That piece with the other cylinder inside fits into this one. Grill folds down, it fits into this bag over here. Since the center is quite hollow once you folded it down, you could probably figure out within your backpack or your camping gear pack what you could actually fit into there if you want to maximize use of space. I'm not sure of the diameter of that, but if you had the right size billy can, you might actually be able to fit this whole system inside your billy can. I'd say you probably have to go for the 16 centimeter zebra billy, but I haven't actually measured this, so you know, I can update on in the future what the actual circumference of this is. Yeah. Then something I've done recently is, so this is the Hultafors Trekker. This is my kind of usual axe. I haven't taken on the last couple trips because I found in the woodlands that I visit I don't really use the axe much. So just in case I was going to use some kind of blade device like this, I took my Bulgarian carving axe with me instead, which is just a bit lighter. And the reason why was because my kit at the moment I usually carry, including a couple ales and stuff for review, is well over 20 kilograms. And when I take it to the ancient woodland that I've been visiting recently, it's insane. I'm traveling for like 7 or so kilometers on my bike with 20 kilos of kit. So that's because I use the Polish Lavu tent, and that's Polish palatka, and that thing itself weighs like 3.7 kilos. It's a canvas 1 to 2 man tent. So what I did was punctured some holes here, and I put in a leather thong just to keep the sheath on the mask, because this is the mask they supply with the axe. And that's alright, it's just that because it's suede, it's stretched a lot. They used to actually supply these with a normal, everyday leather, normal leather, so it stretches and it slides off pretty easily. And yeah, all I did is 1mm leather thong. You measured it out, put in some water for like an hour or so. It doesn't have to be that long, but I just did it anyway. And then what I did was I threaded it through, made sure it was at an equal distance, and the two ends were over here. And I carefully tied a pretty tight knot on either side because I wanted to pinch this together as hard as I could, and then obviously measured here and made as tight of a knot as I could here. I didn't tie the knot while it was on the head, I took it off. So I measured exactly where the knot should more or less go. I took the mask off and I tied the knot a little bit tighter than what I would have, what anyone else would have, and that ensured once it dried up that it was nice and solid and nice and tight. So just, you know, slowly getting into my leather work and things like that, but only for what's necessary. I'm not too sure I'm going to be making knife sheaths within the next few months. Sorry to disappoint. Something I just received like maybe last week or so. This is those everyday carry utility pouch things. Saw one on Scotty's Gone Walkabouts, and he, you know, everybody's got a whole bunch of loose things which they keep in their backpack, and I haven't filled it with much for now because I haven't had a chance to go through everything of mine and actually physically decide what needs to go in there. So for now it's like half medical and half just things that are always just rolling around in my bag. This is a really cheap one. It's a no-name brand from China. It doesn't have like a little mesh pocket kind of thing. The really high quality ones that you're probably going to be spending about 15 to 20 pounds on would have, you know, a tall little pocket here that's mesh, for example, and then a few of these elasticated straps, and then a few more straps there, but they'd be carefully designed that you can fit a whole bunch of things in there. This one's got a depth of about 4 centimeters thickness, so you can fit quite a bit in here, I've ordered something separately, about the same price, but kind of like a more rectangular shaped one, purely just for the first aid stuff. So I can get that stuff out of there and put more in here. My intention with this is purely spare batteries, just all the kind of things that would just be in randomly in pockets in your bag, which, you know, you want everything in one place. This guy's just put in here my Mora spoon knife. I've only put it in here purely because I don't have a mask for it or a sheath, and that's a really sharp and dangerous blade to be having floating around in your bag when you're digging through and trying to find something. So you can see I've managed to fit my Fulton DC4 sharpener in there, got a spoon. I'm going to put batteries in here, maybe spare ferro rods, things like that. That was £7 something on eBay. I highly recommend you just get 2 or 3 of those and just have each one dedicated to 1 or 2 things, you know. And then you can see all those ales in the background. That's about half of what I have in stock. Yeah, I'm enjoying this, having a 2 or 3 when I go out, maybe 4 if I go on a wild camp. And don't have to worry about me. I'm not developing a bad drinking habit. I'm not really into drinking that much. I've just started enjoying getting into this ale and custom beer trend that's kind of happening, and I am enjoying it. So finally we reached the part of the video where I'm just going to discuss where the channel's going, some ideas I have coming up, not only just for this February, you know, we're just about to go into February. I think tomorrow's the 1st, 2019. But yeah, so I've got some concepts. It snowed just a couple days back, and they were saying we get 4 inches of snow, and we got like less than a centimeter. And I do now not regret going out. When I saw the snow coming down, I was like, damn, I should have been out there. But what happened was the snow started melting, and then it refroze overnight, and then the next day half the snow was gone, but we just had ice everywhere. And having a canvas Polish military tent, it would have been a pain in the butt crack trying to fold that thing up and take it home. The thing is, I live in a very small little flat, and I do not have a garage, I do not have a shed, so I have no place to like let that tent hang and just like melt and drop all the dirt and then clean it up. So it's going to be sitting in a bedroom somewhere making a huge mess. So good idea not to go out that night. I don't own a stove. I do intend in the future on trying to make one of those ammo can stoves, like you see on Swedwood's channel. He does one where he doesn't do any welding. I'll try one of those one day. I'll see. I just don't have all the gear. I don't have the location to do it, so it's kind of difficult for me. I have a friend who can help me out though, and he might be able to weld it. Moving on. So I have developed a concept of naturally heating my tent whilst on a wild camp. That concept cannot be proven in one video because I have possibly 2 different ways of doing it using the same concept, and I don't want to give too many details out now because obviously it's an idea that I came up with on my own. I haven't had a chance to search to see if anyone's tried something similar. Maybe someone has. I don't want to make any claim that I'm the first ever to think of this idea. Hell no. But I haven't seen anyone doing it yet, so I'm going to be trying to film it as professionally as possible and adding it into possibly the next wild camp. Like I said, it might be part 1 would be trying the first part of the system, see how warm I felt, right? And then part 2 would be more intensive and reusing the stuff over and over and doing it for a few more hours, and then seeing the result. And then I think that's that. And then there could be another way of maybe a part 3 as well, but we'll see anyway. The other thing is, I am looking forward to it snowing and having my first wild camp in snow. You know, I grew up in the subtropics, so that'll be quite interesting. And what I do have a plan is Arctic style concealment, because where I will be camping, if it does snow, I'm not going to go to the ancient woodland because that's way too far to travel. I have to travel by bike, and it's not easy riding on a bike in snow, as some of you may know. But slippery, you don't, with a 20-kilo rucksack on your back full of stuff, you don't want to be sliding down a hill somewhere, crashing, and you're like halfway home and all that. So yeah, I'll be camping locally, really close, walking distance, 15-20 minutes walk from home, and I will need to conceal simply because it's a public park still. The section that I camp in is pretty, not secluded, but people don't go in there because it's so dense, and people in this country tend to like stick to the paths, they don't explore very much. So what I want to try and do is, obviously the tent is a Polish Army Palatka TP style tent, which would be drab green, I think they call it, and that, when everything's covered in snow, would just stand the hell out. I know that the snow would collect on the tent, but once you open the door and all that stuff, kind of would stand out. Now, exactly where I camp is far from the paths, but if someone did decide to walk with a dog a bit further in, I'd kind of be, you know, right there in the way, everyone's seeing me. So, a few concealment ideas that'll come up in either the exact same video as the heating, or maybe a separate video. We'll see. What else? So, package arriving today, loads of stuff in that package. So, more to come, more options for cooking. A proper grill that stands, because that's one of the things I've had a problem with, is the grill that I have is from my oven, and I have to balance it on rocks and stuff, and then obviously there's the risk of it falling down, and you know, you don't want to cook too many things at the same time and all that. And obviously once the weather gets a bit better, there'll be summer activities that I'll be doing as well. So we'll also be able to see how the woodlands that I'm starting to visit change, obviously with spring coming in, things like that, and how dense they become and how enclosed you become once the canopies cover up. I have a feeling the ancient woodland, which I don't know if this video will be posted before or after, but I'm already editing a video on my first wild camp, which was actually my third wild camp, my first in that woodland, and it's already everything, you know, most of the leaves had fallen down, and I've got a feeling that that place is like super spooky and dark in summer. I have a feeling it's just like that, really dark, which is going to be fun. Yeah, we'll see how everything turns out. And also I'm obviously getting into my mushroom foraging and just identification. Obviously I'm quite low on that, so I need to be very careful. But I have a feeling that woodland is going to be like a plethora of varieties and species. It's going to be so insane in there. What I've seen in there already, and that's in winter. I can just imagine what it must be like in May when the rain starts coming down then. It's going to be mental in there. So that's going to be all interesting to film and see. Those will be long videos for all you people who like short videos. Unfortunately, those reconnaissance, checking out new woodlands, and I will try to make the odd wild camp video short. Like my first solo wild camp, I managed to bring that down to like a 17 or a 19 minute video. I'm hoping to be able to accomplish that in the future for everyone, really. And yeah, I will be doing kayaking trips, that's for certain, but that will be together with my brother. So whether he is happy to kind of be in front of the camera, if not, it'll just be snippets and little parts of the video, like let's say we land on a little island somewhere and have a cook up. I'll be filming some parts of the island, but I won't be filming us, more or less. We're not into fishing, so sorry to disappoint. I'm kind of leaving fishing for a few years from now. I don't know. Fishing for food, I agree with. Fishing to catch a fish and take a photo and throw it back in, no offense, I just don't see the point in that whatsoever. It's just weird. So yeah, I can't explain why. You know, it's just, to me, it's just such a weird thing. So that's that. Yeah, definitely kayak trips coming up.